vocal recordings as a backup. And then I'm going to ask the Claude to do no, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing I'm not going that far.
Claude, could you just host for me? Because like my
and then I'm going to ask Claude to host for me. Not far off. Yeah, on our bonus show for DTNS, somebody asked, like, what do you all use AI for? And it was really interesting to hear everybody's different hedges. Scott Johnson was the most interesting because he's very anti AI art, as you might imagine.
Yes, I can imagine.
But then he definitely uses AI for other stuff. So
what does he? I want to hear it.
Greetings, Ken Hayes.
This might be one of those where I just like don't even need to find, proof, if you will.
Which one?
About
your number 9,
line number 8.
Oh no,
number 9 have all the proof in the world, which is so crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm sure I could find number 9.
Yeah,
I would think
that one for sure.
Actually, yeah. What if I do? Can I do that? Does that work? I can never remember how to do things in technology anymore. Those days are gone. I used to know.
Unfortunately, there's only one way to do things now. Claude, can you help me? Claude, how do I blah, blah, blah? Oh, maybe this is why. Okay, now I have found the reason. All right, okay, cool. Let's just check in on, oh, hey. So earlier I was joking that everybody who is watching live should know that the other thing I'm watching live is my alma mater, the University of Montana, in March Madness, which is hilarious, playing number 3 seeded Wisconsin. And so I just texted some friends that my sporty group chat, I'm actually watching this in the perfect possible way, which is taping a podcast while I occasionally peek over to see how bad it's getting. But then I looked over and they were within 3 points.
Oh,
but now,
really?
Now it's back up to 6.
Oh.
They have not, to my knowledge, they have not led in this game. So I'm not too.
Illinois plays tomorrow at 6:45 p.m., which will be in the middle of the night for me by tomorrow.
Where are you going?
Tokyo.
Right. Oh, so cool. So awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't remember who I told the story of what we're doing. So my brother-in-law.
You told me, yes, but
yeah, did I already tell you that? Yeah,
you told me, but I don't know if you told them.
That's the yeah.
Although if you told me, you probably did tell them because it was probably in our post show.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me if you're listening. Yeah, if you know why I'm going to Japan.
You might as well just tell the story again because it's kind of awesome.
No. Yeah. My brother-in-law studied abroad in Japan, and he has 2 daughters now. So he and his wife, which is Eileen's sister, are taking them to Japan on their spring break to show them the country. It's their daughter's first trip outside of the United States. They get to see where daddy studied abroad. So grandpa on his side, his dad is going, we're going, we're the aunt and uncle. So it's all to show June and Nora Japan and see it through their eyes. It's going to be super fun.
So freaking cool. So freaking cool. I want to go back to Japan. I say back to as though sometimes when you say back to, it makes it sound like you've done something a lot of times versus the one time in 2013 that I was in Japan. But
is this right for your thing? I guess so.
This is actually perfect timing because the dogs are getting picked up right now.
Okay.
We've actually started.
That is the embedded video on the MSN story regarding your thing. Does it make sense to play that?
I just dropped the name of the thing in our studio chat.
Ooh,
if oh God, Milo, Jesus.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Okay, good.
One moment.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. Your things are very important to us. Please stand by. What's the other thing? The other thing I need is I didn't actually see if it's in the lineup, but oh my gosh, there's so many things. What is that? Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, okay. That's right.
I'm back. Okay. Phew.
Welcome back.
That was like, it's a good thing we're not live, even though it's my fault for not putting his harness on. I mean, should I be worried that my dog hides from the dog walker every time? He has fun out there. He just wants to be with mom.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. Like, if I'm here, he's like, I'm not leaving. The hell with that. But also, I'm like, is this
a problem?
Is this a problem?
Am I being irresponsible?
Right. Is he not like this?
Yeah. Probably not. He's probably more like wants you to go. That would be the question. Like, is he like, oh, if you go with me, then we're good. If he's like, no, even with you, I don't want to go, then that would be bad.
I know that would be bad. No, I think he also just hates the harness.
So it's more about
had
that.
a traumatic experience with the harness.
Who hasn't?
And doesn't want to leave his mommy.
That is the cutest story in the world, by the way, about your son's tattoo.
You guys. Okay, I'm just going to tell this story because it's so
You
freaking
need
cute.
to tell this story.
So freaking cute. So my son and I got tattoos yesterday because he turned 18. Burp. And I'm a good mom / bad influence mom. And he got a tattoo of our dog, Reggie, not the one who was hiding under the thing, our other dog, our OG dog. So what had happened is when Eli was like 6, we were visiting some relatives, my aunt and uncle, who always had these like crappy, poorly trained Chesapeake dogs. And Chesapeakes, like, they look like a lab, but they're not cool like a lab. Like, they're friendly, but they're a little over the top. So anyway, this dog, we get out of the car, dog comes bounding over, everybody yells, "Don't run," at my child, who runs because a dog the size of a bear is running at him. And so then the dog knocks him down, chews on his shoulder, drags him across the gravel, playing, but
Yeah.
Kid is traumatized. He will not come out of his room the entire rest of the weekend. Like, he's just like, I hate dogs. Like, I'm scared,
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, we are getting a dog when we get home. Like, this is not going to settle in. We're going to undo this trauma immediately. And so we spent the next like a few months trying to find a dog. Ended up with a much smaller dog than I probably would have gotten. But we also got this hilarious freaking dog who has more personality than any dog I've ever encountered. Like, they just have this special bond and they fight. It's been his dog now since he was 6 years old. So he got the dog tattooed on his arm, and and he got like a little picture of the dog sticking out his tongue. Like, well, anyway, on our chat, Rich Struffalino's wife was like, "Why did he get a dog tattoo?" And I told this whole story, and I was like, "It's kind of the dog that taught him how to be brave." And then he got it on the eve of going to college. And so, like, maybe he's not thinking any of this, right? He was just like, it's cute and funny. It's my dog.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you can look down at this tattoo and think about being brave every time when you're away. And it's just like, yeah, bro, it's so freaking cute. And also, I sent the tattoo artist several pictures of the dog so he could get the vibe. But was like this tongue one. And so then the tattoo artist was like, okay, I think this one will work. And I was like, oh, actually, he wants the one with the tongue sticking out. And he sent me back the picture and he's like, this one?
Yeah.
And I just wrote, and I was like, they have a special relationship. It's seriously though, like, the best work I've ever seen. Like, it's almost like, it's arguably too good for a first tattoo. Like, don't you think your first tattoo should be like a regrettable band icon or something, like band logo? It should just be bad. It should just be like kind of a mistake. And instead his is just like crazy good. I mean, this guy's
No,
like
it's
an
so
artisan.
good. Yeah.
I might have to share it with
It's
the
such a
chat when I
wonderful
drop it to
story
us.
about the bravery and all of that. Even if he doesn't, you know what? Subconsciously, he's gonna look at it like that.
He
I
kind
have
of
a feeling.
knows.
Yeah.
I also had an absolutely hilarious conversation with a friend of mine today about our, because I got a tattoo when I was 18 and it meant a lot to me, certainly. Like I had found this ring. So when I was in high school, I did HIV/AIDS education, HIV/AIDS prevention education, primarily on Indian reservations around the country, Native American reservations. I grew up in Indian country, and we called it that, but I guess we don't. Anyway, I was on the Hopi reservation on the New Mexico side and found this ring. The Hopi have this really rich storyteller tradition, so I found this ring that represents the storytelling journey. It like starts at the base of the mountains at sunrise. You go into the mountains, through a storm, down into the village, and then you end at sunset, and it's a ring because the story never stops. So I found that
Yeah.
ring when I was like 16 years old, and I just held on to it for 2 years, and then I got that tattoo in college. So I was chatting with my friend today who's a Capricorn, and she was like, yes, when I got my first tattoo at 23, I was just like, is this going to ruin my life? Is it going to like, I'm never going to get a job again? But then my boyfriend, who's now my husband, was like, oh, no, no, everyone's going to have tattoos by then. And she's like, and he was right. And I was like, that's such a Capricorn approach. And you will laugh to know that the Gemini version of that was that I got my tattoo and my friend got the Red Hot Chili Peppers symbol. And I was like, I feel like by the time I want to get rid of this, they're going to have perfected like removal technology. Like I was sitting there just being like, I'm going to find a way to get out of this if I don't like it.
I'll worry about that. That sounds like a problem for later, Molly.
It's a problem for later, Molly. So I was like, you say astrology is not real, but that shit is the most Gemini thing ever. And I mean, like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure that you don't mean forever. You don't mean like permanent.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, it was a fun, exciting day.
And my tattoo story as a Cancer, the crab, is I'd have to leave the house to do that, so I don't have one.
Yeah, God, no. I'd have to interact with other people.
I would have to talk
Someone
to
would
them.
have to touch
Yeah,
my
we're
body
not-
for a
we're
long
not doing
time. Yeah, no, that's bonkers.
All right.
Anyway,
Shall we?
All right, let's do a show that's not about tattoos.
All right. Here. Oh, that's not the right music. Tom. Okay, here we go. We should clap.
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
Almost forgot.
Good
In
save.
3, 2, 1. And music. In 3, 2.
Give it to me.
Hey everyone, I'm Molly Wood.
And I'm Tom Merritt.
Give it to me.
There's a podcast that brings things to light. I'm going to stop doing that, making chaos seem clear and just right. With your help, we explore breaking bits to the core, bringing focus where once there was fright. I'm assuming
But
that's
then you couldn't
something
resist.
I couldn't resist. Like, what do you want from me? If there's a limerick and
Yeah.
it's just after St. Patrick's Day,
And
going a
you're
little-
part Irish, I believe.
I
if I'm-
am, in fact,
That's right.
yes.
As
Yep.
am I. So, yeah.
we're
Yeah.
Irish. We can have it.
Indeed. What did you do for St. Patrick's Day?
So I was in Philadelphia for St. Patrick's Day weekend, and those of you who are based on the East Coast or Eastern Seaboard will know it's a way bigger deal there, just up and down than it is like in California. And also Philly is a party town. So pretty much I just dodged puke for a couple of days. in
Yeah.
Philly.
Okay. Yeah. That tracks.
Yep.
Here
Pretty awesome.
in Los Angeles, I stayed home and drank a Guinness.
There you go. I actually
know?
went to the store on Monday to get. My friend owns a local market, and she was like, "We're making corned beef," and so I went to buy some, but it was already sold out. At which point I remembered that I don't really eat red meat anymore. But the fancy rotisserie chicken truck was outside, so I had rotisserie chicken and potatoes. I had potatoes.
Yeah. That counts.
Yeah,
100%
and also
counts.
honestly, after the weekend in Philly, I was like, I'm good.
I usually have some Jamesons and make corned beef and cabbage. But this year, being on Monday, I didn't do the Jamesons. I know. What excuse is that, Merritt? What kind of Irishman are you? Well, I'm only part. And the corned beef and cabbage is just pure laziness. I just didn't get around to it. So.
Oh, it's so much work to make it. So when
Yeah.
when I heard that there were going to be like pre-made meals in the case, I was like, absolutely. And
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, there you
It's
go.
fine. It's fine.
Well, we had orders for mugs and stickers. So big
Hot
thanks to the
damn.
folks buying our merch. You can support the show by buying things through our affiliate links. Look for those in the shopping page at itsathing.me/shop. We'll have some pictures later in the show if you're watching the video version, or we'll have them in the show notes as well, of people showing off their bucket hats and shirts.
Oh yeah, it's getting good. It's
Oh, it's
getting
gonna be real
good.
good.
And
Yeah.
I feel like the merch, we should have just positioned that as a challenge because it
Yeah.
sort of is like evolving into one.
I think you're right. Yeah. No, it's the merch wear challenge.
Yep.
People love a challenge these days.
It's March Madness.
And sometimes
It's the season.
when you see a really good challenge, you'll PMSL.
I don't know.
That does not mean lose
clicked
at
on it, now it's gonna
premenstrual
happen.
syndrome. Yeah.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
And then I clicked it and now it's happening.
Yeah, this is a UK or sometimes called a Briticism, which is also kind of a sub thing of this. I didn't learn about that till recently, but it's British online slang for pissing myself laughing.
I mean, that's so good. Because I think we can all agree that all the other ones, like LOL and Lamau, like those are over.
Yeah, they're kind of
Or,
dusty.
they're
yeah.
overplayed. Yeah, they're dusty.
And I don't know, maybe in the UK PMSL is dusty too, but someone used it to me last week and I was like, what is this? I immediately opened my reminders list. I was like, let me add this right away. But yeah, it's apparently quite common in Britain, possibly Ireland, I would assume as well.
That
But
is
yeah.
outstanding.
There's not much more to it. Like you kind of
Nope.
get it once you know what it stands for.
Yeah.
You know.
You're like, it's an update. We needed it. We needed some laughing updates. And this
Yeah,
is the
it's
one.
it's a way better LMAO.
I'm going to deploy this
Yeah.
without comment. to my
Deploy the
child.
PMSL.
Deploy the PMSL and see what I'm just so glad it's not pumpkin and it's not actually PMS. Like this is
No,
delightful.
yeah,
This
it's
is
not
absolutely
Major Soccer League. There's so many things it could be.
delightful. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. All right, noted. Go forth and deploy, friends.
What do you got? I'll take a sip of my coffee while you tell us your next thing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask folks, like, what are you gonna drink out of your new It's a Thing mugs now that hot beverages are apparently over?
What?
Yeah, I'm just calling it. Like, we've talked about cold brew
Do I need to
as
pour
a
this
thing. Yeah, because it. You know what it is? It's just aging you. As I take a sip of my hot tea.
out? Good. I feel in good company now that you're doing that as well. So
mean-
we can both be out of the loop on this.
At some point, I did start to notice that I was the only person in any Starbucks over the past couple of years or any coffee shop at all, who ever orders just like a black Americano. Like that already is like, you're an old lady. But what I started to realize is that no matter what I order in any coffee shop now, the immediate question that comes back is hot or cold. And if the person forgets to ask that,
It comes cold.
it comes cold. Like
How the world has changed.
hot beverages, I think that's what really cemented it for me is that
Yeah.
I ordered something like a chai and it came cold because they hadn't asked.
Because
and
you
I was
didn't
like,
specify and they didn't ask. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
When did
And
the
so-
default switch to cold?
Exactly. I don't know, but hot beverages are over and that is a thing.
My Korean teacher shares a picture of his iced Americano every day of the year, winter, summer, spring, and fall. And that is apparently a thing in Korea is like everyone drinks, no one drinks a hot Americano. The only
go.
time they ask you if you want it hot is if you're an American like me. And they're like, do you want it hot? and
like,
and
"Yeah."
I've just gotten in the habit of being like, no, ice Americano. I'm going with the flow on that one.
I guess so. And maybe I also started to notice it. Well, we were in Philly and it was pretty cold, and everybody's going around with their ice drinks in their bare hands. And I'm just like, what is happening here?
I know
Like,
people in
it's
Philly
just-
have a different definition of cold than Californians, but still, that's saying something, I think.
So I even found an article then at coffeeplus3.com from January 2025, because now that hot beverages are over, people are like, well, maybe cold coffee is actually better for you.
Of course.
Which is insane. Okay, so what we have found, apparently, according to science,
Okay.
is that hot coffee is absorbed more quickly by the body, so
Okay.
your caffeine benefits start happening sooner.
Okay.
But cold coffee is absorbed more slowly, so maybe you don't get a crash.
Okay.
More sustained energy boost. And
But neither
then,
one of them are bad or worse for you overall?
not necessarily,
Question mark?
although cold coffee they say has a lower acidity level. So if you if you're one of those people who has a sensitivity
Uh-huh. Yeah.
to the acid, then cold can be better.
Right.
I mean, yes, but but we are also to the point where now they're just like, okay, well, I guess we need some science to figure out if one is better than the other because they're being consumed. I can't yet find, I can't yet find the metrics about whether one is definitively being consumed more than the other. I'm surprised that there's no like research on this, but more iced drinks than hot. Let me try a different way to search that.
Yeah. Or ask Claude.
Yeah, exactly. In 2023, let's see. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. Yahoo Finance reports that in fact Starbucks cold beverages are massively outselling hot coffee in the United States.
Which Yahoo Finance
then-
source is it? A lot of times it's Reuters or somebody like that. Does it say, or is it original?
Let me see.
Not that it really matters. I'm just curious.
I know. No, it appears to be original.
Oh.
A person quoted Johnson told Yahoo Finance. We're like, wait,
Oh, okay.
what?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Impressive.
but that looks like it started in 2021, and then now it's off to the races. Like once they say that, once there's like an actual consumer preference out there in
then
the
it
world,
just snowballs from
and
there.
we've got a 2023 story.
And you've got
how
a
it's
snowball
iced
in your coffee because that's how they iced it.
in your freaking coffee, which is so weird. Keurig introduced K-iced. You can actually get ice. I mean, like again, we've talked about cold brew. I'm just saying now it's over.
Have you ever had a hot cold brew?
Ew.
No, that's a thing. That is a thing in the sense
Wait,
that it exists,
it
not that
exists?
it's trendy, but you can get coffee that was cold brewed and then have it heated up
Weird. So that
because
maybe
it's
you,
the brewing that's cold and then they
Right.
usually serve it cold, but
And
you can
so-
actually get it hot, which is weird.
so then maybe you would get the benefits of the lower acidity. Because I know that people really do like that about cold brew. I've heard that
Yeah,
before.
yeah. But you get a hot cup of low acidity coffee. I could see that.
Yeah. Oh God. Anyway. So
Well, speaking of trends being over, I know we just declared Smash Burgers the Gen Z burger over the Bistro Burger, but they're over now too, according to the LA Times. Get ready to detach your jaw for the Brazilian burger.
what? Also, come on. Ew! Look at all the meat on there. Blah, blah.
I know you're not even eating meat right now, so this is the worst.
Ew.
But I bet you could get a Brazilian burger, hold the meat, and it would still be big because they put everything on this thing. It's lettuce, it's
Corn?
egg, it's chicken, it's. I guess you wouldn't do chicken if you're not doing meat, but yeah, there's vegetables, there's sauce, there's corn, there's cheese. It's a whole churrascaria on a bun. And apparently the strategy is to just squeeze it down as much as possible and open your mouth as wide as you can.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. So the Brazilian burger is the specific name of the thing. And there's the one restaurant that, wow. So there's potato sticks, which are like teeny little French fries.
Yes.
Corn, which is odd. Cheese, special sauce, ham, bacon, a fried egg, the potato sticks,
Sausage.
fried sausage, lettuce, and tomato. Holy cow. Let's see if this one takes off. I mean,
This
honestly,
is the maximalism versus minimalism. Like Smash Burger was the minimalism reaction. This is the like opposite reaction.
totally.
And
Costs
it is
$150.
definitely catching on in LA. Like there are more places than just this what was the name of the place? The Pedroco.
Oh yeah, Pedruscos. I just closed it.
Pedrocas.
Pedrocas.
Pedrocas is getting really popular, and so more places are doing it. Usually they are Brazilian places, but not the only places now. So I'll keep an eye on this. I'll keep taking the temperature and see if this starts spreading. And you tell me if you start seeing it outside of LA. And by you, I mean Molly, but also everybody listening.
I'm totally going to. I'm just looking up Brazilian burgers. Yeah.
It has changed the meaning of going to get a Brazilian in LA.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Yeah, we'll know that it's a thing then. Oh God, wow, that's so much. That's so much. Let's see what. Okay, so as with so many things that I discovered, this one came out of a conversation with my child who said, "Hey, have you ever heard of Emogen Heap?"
That sounds like a shipping product that you would find on GitHub. The
Right.
Emogen heap.
The Emogen Heap.
Do you mean the stack? No?
Right. And it took me a minute, and then I was like, "Do you mean the singer?" And he was like, "Yeah, Emogen Heap. Like she's like totally. She's like the new it sound to sample, and also to make sports edits too." And I was like,
To make sports edits too is the best part of that sentence.
I know, which I assume is like how, how it came about. But so, so apparently what is happening here is that Imogen Heap, I was like, it's Imogen Heap. And I'm like, Imogen Heap is totally the musician that like, if I encountered what was then known in the, late 90s and early 2000s as a hipster, if I encountered like a dude with some tattoos and a leather jacket, and maybe like Swisher Sweets or a pipe or whatever, like I guarantee you he listened to Imogen Heap. Like It was just like, I am counterculture, see my Imogen Heap, hear me roar. But she released this song called Headlock in 2005. And apparently in researching why Imogen Heap might be a thing now, it's because evidently just a couple of weeks ago, more than 1,000 UK-based musicians, including Kate Bush, who has been a thing, right? Imogen Heap and Blur's Damon Albarn launched this project that's 12 tracks meant to protest AI.
Right.
So
Heard about
there's a British government proposal that said generative AI companies could train their models on creative works unless artists opt out. And so they released this like silent protest song or album. And then for whatever reason, the song Headlock, which you're hearing now, which was released in 2005, like became the one. There's been a viral social media trend, I guess, involving this new new video game, a horror game called Mouthwashing.
Oh.
And fans are using this song to soundtrack compilations of the footage. And then as a result, for the first time ever, her 2005 song was on the Hot 100, the Billboard Hot 100. And then is it Tyler Perry? Who? No, it's A$AP Rocky. And then she did a collaboration with A$AP Rocky where A$AP Rocky just rapped over her song.
Oh,
like didn't even sample it.
Yeah.
Just, made an agreement with her.
Yeah. On purpose with her cooperation. Was like, I'm just going to do a rap. That's becoming I've seen that a lot more where people are like, it's the same song, but we just added a rap to it. And now it's featuring.
Totally. I think her song was I'm Gods and Demons. And then he just turned it into a song called I Smoked Away My Brain. Anyway, it's like this wild situation. But like, what you just played, I mean, we had this whole conversation about how Imogen Heap really was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
Because
and
now
the time
when you play her music, I'm just like, oh, that just sounds like music now.
Yeah.
And also the electronica that she pulled off at that
music
time,
has come back to her.
Right.
She was just waiting for it to finally catch up.
She was like a time traveler. She was just making songs that literally sound like all songs today.
That's amazing.
But in the early 2000s, I know, it's just so fun. I was like, man, I like the fact that culture never dies.
What is the sports edits part of this?
Apparently there's a specific set, probably because people had started using a segment of the song for these video game edits.
Yeah.
Then people are using that same segment to edit together like a bunch of dunks. I mean, sports edits, side note, are just a huge freaking thing.
Because that's a thing of its own. Yeah.
And the song choice is like everything. Like the song is the story arc. You the amateur will just see a bunch of dunks or passes or whatever, but then the song choice is telling the story.
That is as good of a thing as image. It's a twofer with
it's
you.
Kind of a twofer.
That's a really good one. The whole sports edits thing.
Because the sports edits thing is a thing.
Good stuff. We like to think we're pretty good at spotting things, but we are nothing compared to the rest of y'all. You all are out there nabbing things right and left as a group. Carolyn, with a potential audio thing, says, hi, Molly, Tom, and Rich. Longtime listener, first time reaching out with feedback. Welcome, Carolyn. I was shopping for a new pair of earbuds, which is a challenge for me because I have tiny ear canals, and I saw a bunch of new options that don't go in your ear. Bose, Soundcore, etc. have new open-ear headphones that sit over or next to your ears. There is even a magical subset that use bone conduction technology, bypassing the eardrum entirely, and which you can use while swimming. When discussing these with my teen kid and his friends, shared that a lot of kids are buying open-ear headphones instead of in-ear buds or the big over-ear headphones. They couldn't explain why the switch, but guessed it was because you could talk with friends in person without having to pull out your headphones. Note, I ended up buying a pair of the bone conduction ones, and they are amazing. I thought the sound quality would be really muddy, but I was wrong. It's pretty good. I wear them all the time. They don't hurt my tiny ears. They are private. No one can hear my music, even inches away, and I'm aware of my surroundings and can hear my kid asking when is dinner or the bike coming up behind me on a trail. They aren't great for really loud environments, though, because they aren't sound canceling. But thanks for putting on a great show. I always enjoy listening.
Okay, first of all, I'm now looking at these and I've realized that I've seen them. And two, or B, I am buying them immediately. Like literally, I've been having this exact conversation. I was having this conversation with my doctor because everybody has like impacted ear canals and like earwax that they can't get rid of because of the in-ear. And frankly, it's kind of considering how much kids in particular wear earbuds or headphones. Yep. I'm not at all surprised that they want things that don't go in their ear because it freaking hurts over time. Yeah. But also the big over the ear ones are just clunky and hard to carry. And I had this conversation like not 2 days ago about what is the middle ground, and you have brought it to the bone conduction ones have been around forever for swimmers.
I know all of these have been around forever, but it's like bone conduction just never caught on for whatever reason. Maybe its time has finally come.
Oh my God. All day comfort. Carolyn, you have
ushered in a new age.
You have changed my ears. And these are so pretty. And the Bose ones were named a Time Best Invention of 2024.
Wow.
This is so cool.
Yay. Good stuff.
Good stuff. You just cost me $300, but I'm not mad. Feedback at it'sathing.me if you would like to cost us more money. Alan writes in with a cutting edge thing check. Tom and Molly, being completely on the cutting edge of thingdom, I thought I should ask if we think that podcasts might be a thing. Mainstream comedians, talk show hosts, and hit HBO series all seem to have these newfangled podcast things all of a sudden, and I think they might be a thing. More seriously, if I read the Wikipedia page correctly, then this weekend it will be 20 years since the first Buzz Out Loud podcast was released. Sadly, I did not become aware of it until later, but as I don't know the actual date I started listening to you, I think this anniversary is as good an opportunity as any to say thank you both for the many hours of news and entertainment that you've provided me over the years. I hope it is also not too selfish of me to say that I hope to continue listening to you for many years to come.
Thank you, Alan. That's lovely. Yes, March 30th will be the 20th anniversary of the first published episode of Buzz Out Loud.
That is so wild. We, like Imogen Heap, we're
ahead of our time.
Ahead of our time, and now the world has caught up to us just like it has Imogen. We should have her on or something.
We should. Yeah.
Just be like, let's talk about 2005.
Yeah, let's figure out how to make that happen. That's a great idea. 2005 was a heck of a year for both of us.
I know.
And also, yes, podcasts. I listen to a lot of political shows, and all of them talk about how podcasts are the new place to make or break candidates now.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that alone probably would be evidence, but there's so much more, like you mentioned, out there.
This is the year at long last, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me sooner that I've started offering media training for podcasts as a specific consulting offering. Like, it turns out it's a very specific type of interview that's real different from radio and news. And it is, like you said, it's make or break now for companies, for CEOs, for political candidates. Yeah.
But who can you find who's been doing this for very long, Molly?
Exactly. Like people say they've been podcasting for a long time, but anyway, call us. We can help.
Craig has a huzzah theory. Hi, Thing Gang. You can tell Sarah, whose email you read last week, that huzzah probably gained thingness in recent years because of the Hulu series The Great. It was the primary catchphrase of Nicholas Holt's Peter III, and every other character found an excuse to say it. It was used to celebrate everything from a good meal, huzzah, to great sex, huzzah, to pulling off a coup, huzzah. Very versatile. Love the show. Keep it coming. Huzzah.
Oh, that's outstanding. Oh, I love when the etymology occurs.
Yeah. Thank
Well
you,
done.
Craig, for that insight. That's awesome.
Jordan has to thank you guys for all the feedback this week too. This is just
good stuff.
I mean, the show is so colorful and fun when we have this many emails to read. Jordan has some in the wild crashing out coverage. Coverage. Beep, boop, 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 coming at ya live.
That's just it.
Live from the field. Tom and Molly, to confirm a thing. After hearing about the phrase crashing out on the podcast, I overheard my almost 11-year-old warning my 9-year-old at bedtime not to crash out this week. The meaning was, don't lose your temper and misbehave because you will lose privileges or get into trouble. What? Also adding that both kids have cellular watches with GPS and cellular tracking via Apple's Find My feature. We had Gab watches, but they couldn't compete with the Apple Watch features and functionality with the family all being in the Apple ecosystem. The Find My tracking is smart. And then as a latchkey kid on the Millennial Gen X bubble, I think it's overkill and the kids should be more free range. But parenting is all about teamwork. So here we are with another $1,000 in Apple gear to keep in contact with the kids.
Preach on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. Mike on Butterbeer. We actually have a couple emails on Butterbeer. Hi, Tomori. Mike, your local Orlando resident here, just wanted to mention that the real star of the Butterbeer concoction is the whipped head foam topping that they put on top. I could eat that stuff with a spoon by the bowlful. Also, when it comes to all the different Butterbeer flavored things, there are two absolute standouts. First, the Butterbeer ice cream that is served in the parks, absolutely phenomenal. Second, and only available during the winter months in the parks, is the hot Butterbeer. It's the king of all the various Butterbeer drink styles. I'll mention too, because I'm not California sober and more regular Florida drunk, that Old Smoky Salted Caramel Whiskey makes for an excellent mixer with your Flying Cauldron Butterscotch Cream Soda, both of which are pretty widely available at stores. Currently walking diagonally in Diagon Alley. Thank you, Mike, for that.
Oh, that is incredible. Hi, Thing Gang, longtime listener, medium time feedbacker. My husband got home from the grocery store and greeted me with a hollered, "Butterbeer Hershey Kisses!" I'd say the romance is still alive.
Definitely.
Also, this is just amazing. Also, there's a brand of THC infused beverage called Cali Sober that he drinks here in Texas.
Wow.
So OMG, you absolutely called it. And anyway, here is a pic of me repping the crew in my It's a Thing gear. Let's just pretend I did my makeup or something, though. Girl, you look amazing.
You look fantastic, and thank you for repping with the gear. Everybody loves the microdosing sunlight bucket hats. That seems to be really popular.
So funny. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
The bucket hats really are not going anywhere. They remain a huge thing.
Seb on a color sighting. Hi, Molly, Rich, and Tom. Saw that Motorola have released a brown phone, but not just any brown, Mocha Moose.
Oh my goodness. Mocha Moose just hit so hard. I'm so shocked.
So good.
Pantone really crushed it this year, evidently. Melly needs a thing check. Thing check on porch geese, says Melly. These are decorative goose statues that are about 2.5 feet tall that you then dress up in outfits to match the season and holidays. In my circle of friends, we have a conflation of things with making quilt coats for the geese with scraps from quilt coats that we have made for ourselves. This is in the Denver chapter of Modern Quilt Guild. That's incredible. Oh, look at that. They are
quick Google image search brought up all the Portuguese you could ever want. So definitely a thing.
Okay, so in Philly, a landmark that I started using to find our Airbnb was what I thought was a St. Patrick's Day duck. And I now realize was a freaking porch goose dressed in a St. Patrick's Day. What? I love this show so much.
Mind blown.
This show is incredible. And then finally, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
An epic thank you to Swagmaster Valor Trucks. He wrote in saying, When I first became a shout out patron, you just happened to reference a bunch of Moog gear in that week's shout outs. The week you referenced the Billboard Hot 100, this week rather, and as it happens, I'm using the Billboard charts for a show that I've been doing for 5 years now. So check out that show, The Albums I Have Missed. Oh my God, look at this. Good to know. Also, we referenced the Billboard Hot 100 again today.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
And he sent us a video voicemail.
Yes.
Are you ready for this?
Here's our swag master.
Oh, wait. Why is it? Oh. Why is it not playing? Oh, man.
Oh.
I tested this out earlier and it worked, but now it's not working. I don't know why. That's so weird.
Dang it. Maybe we could.
Yeah, it just doesn't want to come out.
Well, we can tell you that it's Baylor looking absolutely insanely fly in the microdosing sunlight bucket hat and the Motori t-shirt with a video voicemail, which we will we'll put the audio in post.
Yeah.
You'll hear it. Baylor, you're the best.
All right. Before we get out of here, it is time for our shout outs where we acknowledge the people who support us on Patreon at the highest level. Big thank you to everyone who supports us, but we like to go a little farther for the folks who are able to give us a little more. And this week's shout outs were created by our producer, Rich Straffolino, who has the day off to watch March Madness, but he created the shout outs based on a Dorset Inns guidebook from 1987.
Incredible. This is a review of The Black Dog, which, by the way, is a name of a song on Taylor's new album. Taylor Swift, just saying. Hey, side note, did you hear they got engaged? I heard they got engaged.
No, I did not hear they got engaged.
But it feels like that would have been bigger news if it really happened. And it
didn't. Okay.
So,
all right.
It did come from, okay, maybe not. Anyway, I got all excited because I was like, maybe one of my predictions is going to come true, the royal wedding.
Oh, it's still coming true, but just not. Maybe not. Maybe.
All right, I will take like the first 3 down to country, and then you take the bottom 3.
Okay. Yeah.
This is, once again, a review of The Black Dog in Weymouth. In St. Lara Abel Street, near Joe Hood's statue and seafront. Although The Black Dog is Weymouth's oldest inn, its antiquity often goes unnoticed because it has become engulfed in Morris Jones street edifices of later periods. The newer Louis Saint-Amourian and Benjamin Forestian facades cannot alter the fact that this was once a smuggler's haunt in the 16th century and called the A.B. Puppy. It became the Black Dog when the master of a Newfoundland trading vessel gave Lee Price a black Labrador as a present, and it was the first of the breed to enter the country.
Really?
Delightful trivia.
The interior of this fine old inn is divided into bars around a central enclosed courtyard. Each bar is full of Mike Akins. But already there are plans afoot to modernize and rebuild the inn with larger S-Dub Texas. The Black Dog had evil beginnings. When Jake Woods stood alone on the sandy shore in the 16th century, it was the scene of 2 Vaylor Trucks murders. In the 17th century, when the Civil War was raging in Dorset, a Kevin Sill, who sought shelter there, was murdered by James C. Smith, but no apparent reason could be found for the act. Later, in the smuggling days, a revenue officer was cut down whilst attempting to arrest Brian Gianforcaro at the inn. On a more cheerful note, it is said that A.J. Venturella once stayed at the inn and worked on his famous book, Eric Duncan.
Well, that's something. I love, by the way, that we double shouted out Baylor Trucks in the feedback, and he sent us that awesome video and was so great. And then what did we do? We murdered him in cold blood. Just took him out.
That's how it goes. That's how it works.
You never know what's going to happen in the shout outs.
No.
But don't you want to find out? You can join your fellow shout out patrons. Patreon.com/itsatthing. Support the show at any level, and that will get you an ad-free RSS feed and access to our Discord where you can chat along live with your fellow patrons week after week.
And if you want that microdosing sunlight hat or anything else from our merch, go to itsathing.me/shop and keep those things coming. Feedback at itsathing.me.
Bye.
To the beat of life, the moon's beating. I take my high.
Dun, 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 dun.
bum, bum.
I want to try a certain thing because I wonder if this is why it didn't work. Hold, please.
Okay.
I'm going to close that, present that. This is how I talk myself through doing things in StreamYard. Okay. And now, can we hear it? Nope, still can't hear it. So, wasn't that. All right.
Boo.
Boo, StreamYard. Boo. Boo. Boo, this man.
Boo.
There's probably another way to do it that I just didn't know how to do.
Probably. Man.
I can hear Molly. Why can't I hear Valor?
I don't know. And when Valor was playing, I heard myself twice.
Yeah, because I have
Which
to
is normal.
unmute my computer to play things off the computer, which means anything you say also gets routed back to you.
Right. But that
It's a
meant,
thing.
but I brought that up mainly to say that seems like that's what always happens. So it should have been working.
Yeah, so you were hearing yourself, which means that part was working. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Je ne comprends pas.
Oh, well, somebody wants to see the Brazilian burger. I realize I did not show the Brazilian burger on the show.
Ryan made
So
a funny
let
joke,
me-
BBL burger, and now I have that song in my head, BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. BBL burger.
You want to know what the number one song in the world, according to Apple Music, is? Can you guess?
The number one song in the world?
In the world.
No.
It is Playboy Cardi's Evil Jordan.
Really?
Yep. Number one song in the world.
I guess it was too much to hope that it was that fascist takeover song that everybody's been sending around.
No, I don't see that one. But this is just Apple Music, so maybe it is on Spotify. Who knows? Yeah, it's Playboy Cardi unseating Kendrick Lamar's Luther. And then Playboy Cardi Rather Lie is number 3. Drake, number 4 with Nokia. And Kendrick with Not Like Us at number 5.
Wow, still.
That's the world, right?
That's the world.
That's all, any country that has Apple Music. So yeah, here's the Brazilian burger. There's the Brazilian burger.
Oh my God.
Here's
Mike
another
F, by the way,
Brazilian
makes
burger.
an outstanding point, which is that we may need It's a Thing merch for Portuguese.
That is an outstanding point.
Like a Portuguese It's a Thing shirt, like a little baby shirt. Oh, that's so funny. Or a hat.
And do you know what they speak in Brazil?
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Portuguese. See what we did there? It's if I just explain it a bunch of times, it'll get funnier. 'Cause that's how jokes work. Oh, that is incredible.
Portuguese. That's so good.
Portuguese.
Ooh, countdown to Eurovision has begun.
Oh,
May
really?
17th. Eurovision.tv.
Okay, this time I'm definitely paying attention. In fact, you know what? I'm putting it on the calendar.
I don't think I'm going to be gone. Sometimes I'm gone at Eurovision, and it gets in the way of my world. But yeah, I think we're around May 17th. So back in the saddle. Although it's now harder because they stream it on Peacock. I believe
Yeah.
they're going to continue to do that. So I don't have an excuse to VPN and listen to the BBC's version, which is way more hilarious.
Oh, totally. Eurovision. I made this.
They
up all
have
day.
Johnny, the figure skater. What's his name? Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny. He's just Johnny to me because you know we're close like that.
I know who you mean.
Yeah, have him host it, and he's great. But they kind of have him on a short leash. Like he's,
Oh.
you know, he's
But
being.
he's so funny.
He's and he's kind of funny, but you can tell that they set limits. Whereas the BBC, they've been doing this for a long time. So Graham Norton is just you know, he'll say whatever he thinks. It's too hilarious,
I
and I'm
think
like,
we
well,
should
Johnny
still
could
do
do that too, and I'd be totally fine if he did.
Why can't I think of his name? Because I don't know, menopause.
Oh, for me, it's not menopause, but definitely
Oh, wait, is it
can't
May
think of it.
13th and and then the 17th is the final. Okay.
Yeah, they do. Like the founding members get automatically into the final, but they have 2 semifinals. Johnny Weir.
Johnny Weir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never gonna remember that.
No, me either.
Also, I put this on the calendar for April 17th. I'm crushing it.
May 17th.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay.
I
Oh,
I
you were
was-
saying you had
yeah,
accidentally.
I just screwed it up. Yeah. Yeah. I like 100%, by the way, convinced myself that March 15th was tax day and like killed myself. Getting
Well,
all
it
my
is
taxes in.
corporate tax day.
Well,
Is
and
that
then
how it got in your head?
apparently it is a business tax filing day, which I didn't know. And so I got all my stuff in like late enough that my accountant was like, yeah, we filed an extension for you. I'm like, wait, what? Like, you got to tell me this stuff. I was like, how about next year make me a list of key dates and stuff I need to send you?
Yeah. And tell me, hey, I need you to send me that. That's what my accountant does. She's like, okay, did you give me all your things?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened this year, but
Yeah.
like none of that, which is weird. I don't know, whatever. I'm like, I don't know, whatever. It's just taxes.
Death and taxes.
Ha ha ha. Exactly. That was a joke, by the way.
Well, you know what's
It's
funny
just-
is they said on irs.gov in January, if you are anywhere in LA County, that you can get a penalty-free extension. You will not have to file until October 15th. You don't even have to file for the extension. You have to do something, but you don't have to do the normal filing. And you won't have to pay your taxes until October 15th. I told my accountant that. She's like, yeah, I think we should just file them anyway.
Oh, really?
My personal taxes. Yeah.
No,
She's like, we
in-
could delay the California one if you want, but I think we should just file the federal one. And I was like, oh, because she's like, yeah. She's like, unless you need to. She's like, if you need to, we can work that. But if you don't need to, maybe let's just file the federal ones now. And I'm like, okay.
That is not reassuring. But yeah, also, yeah. Wouldn't that kind of anticipation potentially argue against filing at all? I'm just, no. Not trying to go to jail. Not trying to go to jail here.
Not even trying.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, enough of that.
We dropped off 7 at his board, and he's going to get trained again. We're boarding him because the place that boards him did the training that he originally did, so he's going to get refresher.
Oh,
So we're joking like, oh, you're going to grad school.
he's going to grad school, and you're gonna have a party weekend.
Yep.
Is that
Because
gonna
it's
be
shorter.
while
It's shorter than the original schooling.
you're- What's your deal? You're in Japan for 2 weeks, right?
In Japan for 2 weeks, yeah.
Great.
Because we're in Tokyo for 4 or 5 days, and then we go to Kawaguchiko, which is by Mount Fuji. That's where my brother-in-law stayed with a family, I think, if I have this right, when he studied abroad. So that's why we want to go out there. And then we're going to Kyoto for the last bit, and then we're flying back.
Awesome. Love it. Send pics and safe travels.
Pixarama. Don't
Pics
you worry.
galore.
Yeah. There will
And
be
things
lots of
spotting
cute
galore,
pics
probably.
of my nieces going, what? Especially Nora, the younger one. She does the greatest like stunned looks. She just naturally looks like, that is the most amazing thing ever.
Oh, Bubba.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
She's
that's
amazing.
gonna be a blast. / traveling with kids. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, we're the assistants. That's why we're the safety valve. We're the like, can June come stay in your room for a little while?
Yeah, that's a great thing for you to be. That's very kind.
So it's good for them, good for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All works.
All right, I'm gonna go have some zinc and watch the end of this Montana-Wisconsin game. Go Grizz.
Oh yeah, how's it going? You weren't that distracted, I have to say.
No, it's because they're not gonna win.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
They were within 4 at one point when I looked.
Yeah. All right.
But no, now it's it's perfect time to pay attention. It's like the last few minutes.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. We're gonna end the live stream. We're gonna end the Discord, but we'll see you soon.
Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.